Good evening, and welcome to the Veteran Among Us, LGBTQIA Veterans Plus, the National Veteran Support Group. And we have with us tonight our faithful Chaplain Maureen F. Burns, co-chaplain of the National Veteran Support Group. And we appreciate you being here with us. We've got
Thank
a special guest tonight. How about that?
Yes. Yes.
He and his wife are a team, and they have two programs that our guests are going to talk about tonight. Well, I guess I should give you our guest name. How would that work?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
That would be helpful. Amelia and Daniela Roman are our guests tonight.
And Emilio is a former Marine. Let us not forget that.
That's right. Hoorah. Of course, our co-chaplain is also a former Marine, among other things. So thank you for that. And they have two powerful ministries. The one ministry is the spiritual fitness ministry. They are coaches in this ministry, and for those who are not veterans, we will explain to you that when you hear the word fitness, to immediately connect that with the physical fitness that we go through in the military to stay physically fit. Well, his program does likewise, but it's for spiritual fitness, that essence, the fitness of our essence, the fitness of our breath, which is God breathing us, and all of those kind of wonderful things. And the other one is the uh, National Co-Author Network Program. I am so they will be announcing their books and how all of this plays into you taking serious consideration in being a part of both your spiritual fitness and co-authoring. I'm one of their co-authors, or co-authoring with them. They are nationally known. I would say that they're internationally known. Uh, they're a bit above my pay grade, if you know what I mean. I mean, they're talking about having our first gathering down there in Casablanca. I'm just kidding, but it is on one of the islands, and and that's where they had their fellowship, and that's where we and kind of tweak our network and meet new friends and gather with old friends, and all of this is so exciting, and I am grateful to both of them for agreeing to be on the program. So my fellow veterans, the LGBTQIA Veterans Plus, and by the way, the Romans are on the plus side. So we thank God that they are with us tonight. So if our beloved moderator, there they are. Hello, my
Hello.
friends.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that warm welcome, Dr. P.J. Anderson. We really appreciate you. Again, we got to meet Chaplain Maureen. Maureen, she's in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So, how did you let's first talk about your book that you sent to me,
Sure.
and that I have read, by the way, cover to cover.
Oh, wow.
And I need to, I won't ask you to answer me publicly, but I would like to cite some of your work in my book, of course, giving you full credit for it.
Please do.
But let's talk about how you came to write your first book. If our administrator would put the cover of your book up just briefly, 101 Ways to Thank a Veteran.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you come to that, Pass?
Yeah, I mean, wow, for some reason, I got goosebumps when you asked the question, because it was just little acts of kindness that people did for me that really prompted me to actually put this together. And I was like, wow, when I was in the military, and anyone who's served, right, for those viewers that are watching, you don't make lots of money when you're in the military. You just don't make lots of money, especially if you're enlisted. And so I lived in New Jersey, and I was stationed in 29 Palms, California. If anybody knows where that's at,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's all the way in the desert.
Yes.
So when we used to get 2 weeks leave at a time, or whatever time we got, for liberty, right? Well, I would literally spend 3.5 days on a Greyhound bus from California to Philadelphia to get here to Jersey, and then 3.5 days to go back. That's a whole week I would
Yes.
spend traveling, because it cost me $100 to go Greyhound or whatever it was that we used. And then I only got to spend really a week with my family. During that time, so many people helped me. And forgive me for I get a little choked up when I share these stories, because that's really what prompted me to talk about 101 Ways to Thank a Veteran, a how-to guide for honoring our country's most valuable resource, our veterans. I truly believe that our veterans are our most valuable resources, outside of obviously the water and everything else. Like everything that we enjoy today, somewhere along the line, a veteran was responsible for it. So I just wanted to share that with you, because that's what this book is filled with. Ideas that we can support our veterans.
Is there a website that you could offer us for the viewing and listening audience if they wanted to order the book?
Sure. Thank you. And you can go to emilioroman.com, and that's Emilio. Last name is Roman, like Roman numeral, Roman Catholic. And you can go there and you can purchase the book. If not, just go straight to Amazon. It's on Amazon. Be more than happy to, and you guys can reach out. If you buy the book, reach out to me, especially if you're a veteran. If you're an organization, which many organizations, by the way, have bought the book and they've taught curriculums, believe it or not. This book is in the library at universities here in Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school. It's also in local libraries. And again, it was something simple, if you don't mind me sharing.
Please.
So what happened? I wrote this ideas on how people can thank a veteran. For example, I'll give you a couple of them. Support the United Service Organization, the USO, right? We all know if you're a veteran. And so even donating to them, a lot of organizations accept donations. Many of us are doing spring cleaning and we get rid of stuff. There's organizations like the DAV, the Disabled American Veteran. So find a charity, so instead of just cleaning something out and throwing it away, veterans organizations can use that to support our veterans.
Yes.
Donate a car. So there's so many things that you can do. Obviously, from outside, from something as simple, Chaplain PJ, as buying a coffee. Just so many simple things that you can do for veterans.
How do you suggest that how do you suggest that we identify a veteran unless they have, some marking on them? Is that possible, or do you just go up and say, are you by chance a veteran?
Right. So if that opportunity, great question, if that opportunity doesn't present themselves, most veterans like myself and like you, I'm always sporting my Marine hat. I have them here at any opportunity I can to proudly share. So, but if you don't have that opportunity in front of you, there's things that you can do. For example, we go ahead and we put on Christmas cards to local veterans hospitals, right? So if that's not there, Danielle and I are now on our, I want to say 4th year, where we take Christmas cards. And if you don't mind me sharing how that
Please.
came about, boy, I didn't know you guys were gonna get into this, but I'm a bit of a crybaby, so I'm just saying it now.
Big bad Marine.
Just don't tell my Marine buddies. So I was literally sitting at a VA hospital in Philadelphia, and my mom had passed away, and I got out of service. My mom, I was struggling with my own alcohol, drug addiction, my own PTSD, if you will, through the VA that they've already labeled me, and I was dealing with my own challenges. I end up in a hospital. My mom had died on Christmas Day. And I'm there kind of in a fog, if you will. I'm in a fog. My head is down. someone comes up to me and says, Merry Christmas. Thank you for your service. I get the card. I don't even know if I thank this individual. I just know how that card made me feel. And it felt like my time in service meant something at a time where I was just, again, dealing with my own stuff. And then it wasn't until about years later that I decided, when I had got better mentally and physically, I was like, man, I want to do something for our veterans. So that's what initiated my Christmas card drive. And so immediately my first year, I came on Facebook when I was doing Facebook, and I said, listen, I want to, does anybody want to support veterans? Put a Christmas card together. I had over 3,000 schools. People were calling me. We had to stop it.
Yeah, it was overwhelming.
It was overwhelming. And so I just felt good. And so we keep that going.
And the Thanksgiving meal.
And now we do Thanksgiving meals. But so that is a way that people can help. Is write Christmas cards and take them to local hospitals.
Outstanding. So initially, Chaplain Mo, I had asked Chaplain, because I think he's also. Are you also a chaplain? Aren't you?
No, I'm not a chaplain. No.
Is your wife? Are you in ministry?
No.
Okay.
Y'all need to be.
Maybe. Yeah. Initially, I asked you to have a conversation about our veterans who may have come to a place of hardness because of their experiences. They're just hard-hearted. Maybe so. Our administrator is announcing to the world that what you do is ministry. Thank you so much, Pastor Sue.
Thank you.
Yes, both of you are ministers doing ministry.
Thank you.
Because often we become hard-hearted because some of us, I was blessed. I got through the system okay, for the most part. There were a couple of glitches, but I just stayed at it until we got them smoothed out. Some of our veterans have given up on the Veterans Administration. They are hard-hearted. They blame the Veterans Administration and don't seem to have an understanding that the Veterans Administration is not about caring. They don't care that you didn't complete the system, because there are millions of others that keeps on them about the benefits that we are in, of which we have earned.
Yes.
And so what do we do with the hard-hearted veteran who is contemplating suicide, who is becoming domestically abusive, who is turning to alcohol and drugs to numb their pain? What can we do as coaches of spiritual fitness and coaches of soul fitness, and what are some of your suggestions?
Yeah. If you don't mind, Chaplain, I would like, because you just touched right up on it, I would like my wife to read the back of the book. Is that okay?
Sure.
Because you just touched on it, and it's just, and I'll respond to that.
Okay.
Today, 22 veterans will take their own lives. Will you take 22 seconds to read how this book can help you help them? 101 Ways to Thank a Veteran is a story of how a disabled U.S. Marine veteran survived the trials and tribulations of life after service, from fighting substance abuse to battling depression with the help of little acts of kindness from complete strangers. Books change people, and people change the world. Pick up this book today and discover what a world of a difference you too can make in the life of a veteran. Emilio Vermont is a disabled Gulf War era veteran. Today, under favorable health conditions, Emilio serves as a veteran ambassador. He is passionate about providing direction to veterans who do not know where to begin the process of filing for VA medical, educational, dependent, and survivor benefits. His specialized knowledge stems from his personal journey of navigating the Veterans Administration's complex, confusing, and at times careless management of veterans' resources.
Yeah. Thank you, love. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. So that's why, you asked the question, and I was like, it's exactly what that was,
You
Chaplain
forgot
Burns.
something. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because I was going to ask you, Chaplain Burns, do you have, I mean, this is phenomenal. Do you have a question or a query or a comment?
Well, I just want to identify myself a little bit to you, Emilio, so
Please.
that you understand. I'm a 100% disabled veteran, but I filed for benefits in 1999 and didn't get them until 2010. It
Wow.
took me 10 years to fight the system and get the benefits that I was entitled to. And I was gang raped, and it was all in evidence in my file, in my personnel file. And it still took over 10 years for them to recognize. Recently, Chaplain PJ thought this was ridiculous. Recently, they had to recertify me, and they made me fly all the way from Maui over to Oahu to prove I had a hysterectomy and measure my hysterectomy scar. Once again, it's all in my records.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Wow.
But that's what I had to go through because the
Yeah.
VA is such a massive organization that one set of people aren't talking to the next set of people.
Yes.
I
Yes.
should never have even been reevaluated.
Yes.
It was because I was claiming a benefit for not being able to have children anymore. And they were like, why can't you have children? I said, look at my record. And they were like, well, yeah, you've been raped, but what's that got to do with not having children? I said, I had to have a radical hysterectomy because of the rape.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see about giving you the benefit. But in the meantime, we're going to totally reevaluate your mental health, your physical health, and you have to prove to us you had the hysterectomy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So it's crazy. So how I didn't become hard-hearted along the way, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I went through terrible trauma.
Yeah.
And not only that, big brother and big sister,
Yeah.
they had the audacity to send a male to do the examination.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
Oh,
Now,
Yeah.
that's what I
It's
mean by
insult.
insensitivity.
Yeah, insensitivity. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chaplain Marine, for sharing that. It's heartfelt. I felt it in your words when you were saying, and I come across so many veterans. And this is where my passion comes to. If I'm hearing stories like yours, obviously yours is that extreme, right? There are stories like yours. and then there's
Unfortunately,
stories-
it's not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's not extreme. A lot of people go through exactly the type of situation that I did because, like I said, the different sectors of the VA are so massive that one side's not talking to the other.
Yeah.
So, for instance, here in Maui, we only have a VA clinic, no hospital. So if you need anything at the hospital beyond eyeglasses, you have to fly over to Oahu to get it,
Yeah.
So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, you have to fly over to Tripler Hospital, right?
Right.
Is that you have to? Because I used to live in Hawaii and I know. But listen, thank you for your story, and this is why I'm so passionate. And thank you for even talking and highlighting this, because I'm going to, with all due respect, share your story moving forward. And if you have a book, if you've got something that I can share your message with as a message of hope, not to give up on your VA benefits, because a lot of veterans, this is what the VA counts on. They count on the attrition rate of many people. They claim it and they file and they stop. And I'm there to tell them, listen,
Don't
the
ever
VA
give
counts,
up.
they count on dropping you off and you're not filing again. You got to get the help. You have to get it. Don't try to do it by yourself. I tell people, don't do it by yourself. We all as veterans have the ability to file on our own. We can walk in there and do it. I tell people, stop. Don't do it. It's such an emotional thing. It's an emotional thing. And you're going to miss out on something on the paperwork, and you have to learn what they're looking for. I teach veterans about symptomology. So I teach them, if you're applying for PTSD, I don't know if you know this, but what they're looking for, the evaluator, is symptomology. You can talk about your story all day long. Doesn't matter. If you're symptoms, if you don't have the symptomology of bipolar or of PTSD, you're going to lose.
Right.
So this is what I help veterans with. And anyway, I'm so grateful and so blessed that you are so forthcoming with your story, because that's what helps people.
There's
Thank you.
power. There's power in stories. Um, Sister Daniela, um, how did you manage? I mean, you were also serving, even though you were not in California at the same time that your husband was deployed to California. How, as a veteran family, did you navigate those times?
You're speaking to Lot's wife.
Speaking to the Lord's wife.
The Lord's
Lots.
Oh,
The Bible.
really? Oh my.
I'm saying that the way that his wife was never described in the Bible as going through everything that he went through. In that sense, Daniela, you were just like Lot's wife.
That's right.
They never acknowledged her. She lost everything he lost,
Okay.
but they never acknowledge her.
Yeah.
You say you've never heard that, Sister Daniela?
Yeah, well, what I have to clear up is we weren't together then.
Okay.
We've only been together 4 years.
I see.
So he was in the service 96 to 2000.
Okay.
So we've only been together 4 years. We known each other for many years because we went to high school together.
Okay.
But didn't see each other for like 28 years.
So what? Wow.
Yeah.
And then found each other again?
Yep. And the funny thing is, I liked him all through high school. He just never knew it. Yep. And, it just divine intervention brought us together. But yeah, he had already been out of the military and everything when we reconnected. Yeah. So I didn't live that life.
So is there anything in his post-military service that is a particular, has continued? When I say continued, we go to our grave with military bearings, right? Mm-hmm. So is there anything in his military? Is he a stickler about anything that you'd like for him to lighten up on?
Oh, you really put me out there now.
How long is this show?
It's gonna take long.
I'll be here a while. I think I don't know. Were you a sergeant? Because you could have been. You should have been. You had authoritative kind of take control, but in a good way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he wants things when he wants things, and things got to get done, and you know what? That's not really that difficult for me because I'm kind of the same way, but I'm just more mellow. You know what I mean? Like we balance each other out because he's very hyper high strung and very high energy. And I'm more like, yeah, we're good, but I still get things done, but I just do it, in a more calm way. But, I love his personality. That's what attracted to me, it's his high energy and I love his passion for his veterans, though. That is his main thing. Because I grew up, in a very traditional family. I was always taught respect, authority and law enforcement, and of course our veterans and military. And I've always held high respect, for them. And honestly, it disgusts me what I see veterans. It disgusts me. Like I don't even want to get into it because
we were at the VA today.
Yeah,
we were at the VA today.
I get very emotional.
We got problems today.
Yeah, I see what he's gone through. I've seen what other veterans gone through. Just in general, what I see on the news, what I hear. Like, why does somebody who sacrificed their time, their life to go and defend their country, to give us, our civilians, the freedoms and everything we have to come back after what they already went through, whether it was, war or, seeing, their partners die or just everything that, they go through to come back and have to fight for benefits. You know what I mean? Like, they gave up a lot to go over wherever they're sent, whether they're deployed or not deployed. They were of service. He was of service. You guys were of service. Whether you're in a war or not in a war, you should not, in this country or any country, have to fight and go through what Chaplain Marine went through. And it just disgusts me, and like something needs to be done, like really, really seriously. Because what I sat in a veterans hospital. He was in when he was diagnosed with COVID. I sat in that waiting room, and I'm sitting there observing, and the veterans are sitting there. Oh my goodness, I was there for 3 hours. They were still sitting there, and the one, going up and asking, and they're just like, yeah, well, you have to wait.
Whenever.
Like not like no big deal. Like, their time isn't worth anything, and it just amazes me.
And I think that one of the problems, I don't know if Chaplain Marwood is going to agree with me or not, but I find the biggest problem is they don't hire veterans because if you've not put, there are some things that you have to experience to understand.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that you have to have experience across the board to understand, but the one thing you really need to understand is if you haven't put that uniform on and you haven't been deployed and you haven't been in harm's way, you don't have a clue of what that person that you're trying to serve with the lack of experience, so we're unequally yoked in the VA. I mean, I don't know even if the Secretary of Defense
I want to point something out there. Biden recently, a few months ago, tried to raise up a military man in that position, and the Republicans fought him the whole way. He had to release the position and say, I release my commission. I would want to serve as a civilian. He had to change everything he was in order to be able to take the position over. That's absurd.
It is. It is. But, remember, the goal is not to help. that is not the empire's intent, in my opinion. I could be wrong. People in Washington aren't trying to help us, particularly the right, and the extreme right, and a few on the left. But that's the way it is when we come back.
Yeah.
We're at break time. When we come back, we want to also continue the conversation in the book that will soon be coming out.
Amen. Thank you.
Okay, Pastor Sue.
I'm here.
All righty. Carry on.
All right. So, when we're having really good conversation, the time goes by real quick. So I'm so grateful to have amongst us Emilio and Daniela Roman as our guests tonight. We're so incredibly blessed that they have taken the time to join us. And I know that this won't be the only time that they will that you will see them here on this program. I am sure of it. Speaking of Emilio, we want to talk about the book that is getting ready to come out. Spiritual Fitness Survivor, How to Turn Your Struggles into Strengths. And this is the 3rd edition, and it features 22 award-winning authors as they share their real life stories. The foreword is by Forbes Riley, celebrity TV host and billionaire strategist. And so if you want more information about this particular book that's getting ready to come out, or any of Emilio Roman's work, please visit www.emilioroman.com or Amazon. Look him up on Amazon. I'm pretty sure that you will find him there. Next up, Chaplain Maureen, our own Chaplain Maureen, has a company called Transformations Possible. She is an advanced law of attraction practitioner. She has life coaching available. She wants to help you learn the law of attraction and spiritual principles for success. So if you are interested, send an email over to transformationspossible@gmail.com or give her a call at 808-264-6252. Kara Solutions, focus on your passion, let Kara handle the rest. Administrative business and consulting services for dreamers, visionaries, entrepreneurs, faith, and community-based organizations. And for more information about all of what Kara does, you can visit the website at www.kara-solutions.com. But we also offer remote production. So an example of what Kara does is what you're watching right now. This is one of the the broadcasts that we power. And so if you are interested in having your own broadcast, I'm your girl, hit me up. You can send me an email at sue@cara-solutions.com today or tonight for a free consultation. Let us do the heavy lifting so that you can focus on your event. If you're just joining us for the first time, we want you to stay connected to TFAM's National Veteran Support Group, right? So join our group on Facebook and like our page. Our group on Facebook, you just look it up, TFAM Veterans Group, and our page on Facebook is TFAM Veterans. We want you to stay connected. We have some great broadcasts coming up, and we don't want you to miss a thing. So if you are interested, if you're already a part, thank you so much for supporting us. Share this with your friends. Tell your friends about it. Tell your family about it. If they are veterans, if they identify as LGBTQIA, if they are of color, or if they are allied, we want you to be a part of TFAM's National Veteran Support Group. Okay, those are our announcements. I don't think we have any more. And so now I'm going to turn this back over into the hands of Chaplain PJ, Chaplain Mo, and our guests, Emilio and Daniela Roman.
Wonderful. Isn't she awesome?
Yes, she is.
I don't know why she won't put up there her other people that she support. For an example, she is on the Shepherd's Table, and I think Pastor Sue is a student in discernment. Uh, Pastor Sue is in seminary and serves her pastor, the the Reverend Dr. Bishop elect. Let me get it all in there because she has certainly worked for it. Who is the founding pastor of Living Water,
Rivers of Living Water.
Rivers of Living Water. Thank you, founding pastor of Rivers of Living Water there in New Jersey, and she is also our national youth minister. Pastor Sue is also our National Fellowship of Affirming Ministries youth minister, and that comes under the umbrella of our bishop, our Reverend Dr. Bishop Yvette A. Flunder, founder of City of Refuge, founder of the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries, and it's we always want to thank God for the pastor in Rivers of Living Water and the pastor at City of Refuge for taking us under their wings. And she and I are two of the national TFAM, the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries, a part of TFAM on the national level. And Chaplain Maureen was elevated to chaplain at our last convocation.
Correct.
2 years ago, and it was in
Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Atlantic City, New Jersey.
That's
There
for
you
right,
have it.
right now.
There you have it.
That's for right.
And we would be. I don't know if Pastor Sue has a photo of her pastor that she can put up so that you can.
There we go.
There we go. There's
Beautiful.
the Reverend Dr. Bishop elect. And what that means is that at our next convocation, or is it the leadership conference?
Leadership conference. We're conflicted.
Convocation.
Yes.
That Bishop elect comes off, and she's bishop. And incredible congregation there. She has two, one in New York and one in Jersey. So there you have it. And of course, our bishop. I mean, she walks on the ocean and doesn't even. If you have a picture of her, Pastor Sue, there she is, Bishop Yvette A. Flunder. I'm serious. She literally walks on the ocean, and the winds and the waves obey her will, if I may so say.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus, people gonna talk about you. Just and call you a heretic.
Well, you know what Bishop says, the only difference between a heretic and a hero is time, right?
That's right.
I love it.
Uh, but she does this in concert with the Savior. I'm not certainly elevating her to a place of divinity. I'm saying that her relationship with God is seems so seamless and so complete that when I see her, I do see the God in her through her works. I mean, if I were to, that's a show all by itself. And hopefully one day we'll be able to catch up with Bishop and have her on this particular show, and maybe also on the other one. So before we break, did I remember everything, Chaplain Maureen? She kind of keeps
Yeah,
me
yeah,
balanced.
yes, you
Oh,
did.
okie dokie. Um, so
The
just
first thing
before the
I'm
break,
interested in, Emilio, is does your spiritual program have a boot camp?
No, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. You know, it's interesting. We actually about 2 years ago we were doing a little spiritual fitness boot camp where we say, well, what does that mean, spiritual fitness? And we go, it's fitness with a spiritual center. So most people just work out either we've experienced. People are, let's just say, they're going to church, which is great. They have this connection with the higher power, or they're not doing that. They're working out. Right? They're taking care of the temple, but we do it differently. So when people say, what is spiritual fitness? We do both. We actually begin sessions with prayer, we end with prayer, and we do the physical. And that's something that's rarely seen out there. So we really take it literal. Fitness with a spiritual center is our spiritual fitness. And we lead with the premise that we are spiritual beings first, right? Human beings second. It's not the other way around. Many of us think we're human beings and having a spiritual experience. And we believe that's not the case. We're spiritual beings first.
are we having a human experience?
Right. So, right.
I'll take the spirit any day.
Amen.
I'll have a new body, or absent from the body, present with the Lord, whatever. I'll take the spiritual stuff. That's for
Yeah.
sure. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. The book that is coming out, by the way. Uh, Thank God I was invited to offer a piece, and thank you that for making me. What did you call us? Award-winning authors.
That's right. Yes, yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. And you know what, Chaplain? Thank you for accepting our invitation. Here is your chapter number 17. Here she is.
Oh my.
Chapter 17.
I guess she didn't get it in the mail yet.
Oh yeah, have you received it yet? You
Not
received
yet.
It should
Not
be
yet.
in the mail.
it's in the mail. It's in the mail. And
Oh my
so it's a
goodness.
beautiful, beautiful chapter for you. So those of you, it's not out for public consumption yet, because we're going to have, it's going to be in the next week or so. But your story is amazing. Thank you again for being one of the co-authors in this book. And it's titled Spiritual Fitness Survivor, How to Turn Your Struggles into Strength. And if we're all honest with each other, all of our strength today, right, come from a challenge or a struggle. Right?
Absolutely.
So just like Chaplain Maureen, your struggles, right, and what you went through, whether in the military or in civilian life, you're able to help others with your story. That's part of your history now, right?
Emilio, I am in the process of writing a book called 40 Years in the Desert, and it'll be autobiography in one chapter, then the next chapter, what I learned out of it in life and ways to heal PTSD. And it'll go back and forth between autobiography and ways to heal.
Wow. You let me know when that, you let us know when that comes out. We want to be one of the first to buy it. And we want to have you on our program to share that message.
Yeah.
We love to do that.
No problem. I'm also an ex-drill sergeant, so raw with the fitness.
I love it.
What branch was she?
Yeah, Daniela was asking what branch.
I was in the Army, and I was also in the Air Force Reserves. I was a staff sergeant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Love it.
Amazing.
I
I was the country's youngest ever female drill sergeant at 19, and I still hold that title today.
Wow.
You know,
Isn't that amazing?
I love this. If you don't mind me sharing, you know, John Maxwell, right? He says about leadership, everything rises or falls on leadership. And so I love when I talk to service members because they have a special type of leadership that most civilians just will never have. And it's not saying anything bad about them. It's just this leadership, everything, your relationship, business, everything rises or falls on leadership. And so I love when I deal with veterans because there's just a special connection, camaraderie. You just don't get anywhere. So thank you.
I don't think I sent it to you, but we have put together a survey, and I think even though you're not a pastor, I'm going to ask you to fill that survey out.
I'd be more than happy to.
We have 2 surveys. I'll send both of them to you. One is for faith-based leaders, and the other one is for the veteran. And what we're trying to determine is how many faith-based leaders have veterans on their radar, and how many veterans have faith-based organizations on their radar.
Wow.
We're trying to come together with a matrix, and so I will email that to you and ask you to reproduce it and share it with as many the veterans, that is, to reproduce it and survey and pass it out to as many veterans as you can.
Amen.
And ask them to send it back. That's a part of the project that I'm writing, healing your soul, healing my soul. A redemptive response to death by suicide. Now, based on that title alone, the challenge is to show faith-based leaders the redemption in suicide, if it comes to that we have to stop demonizing people who come to that era, that end for themselves. And then the other piece is a lot like Chaplain Mo. Healing my soul is talking about what made my soul sick and what I am doing to heal it. So it too has that double-sided expression.
You're doing
And
beautiful work. You're doing beautiful work. I'm so touched that I didn't know all this was going on. I knew you were involved in ministry, but I didn't know the outreach or the extent of it. And I see today from this interview that you've got the A team working with you alongside of you, and the stories. Oh my, so heartfelt.
I have found that stories heal. Telling one story is a component of healing.
Amen.
Yes.
And the other thing is, I'm going to diss on Chaplain Maureen. She is a drill sergeant. Sure enough, no kidding. I'm telling you. And I think she got it from our administrator, Pastor Sue. I tell you, both of those ladies. What did she say? We overcome by the word of our testimony, and so do others. Okay, Pastor Sue is affirming that telling our stories is healing. She ain't saying nothing about her being the master chief. What do they call him? What do they call him in the Marines? The
master sergeant.
Master sergeant, the one at the top.
Ma'am.
She's
master. I love it.
Reverend Master Sergeant.
Reverend Master.
How about that? But you know what? I kind of appreciate. I don't just kind of. I learned a little bit from the way you and your team work, because you've got one hell of a team also. Number one, your wife. I mean, the way the two of you complement each other and support each other. And, when one is speaking, it might as well be the other speaking, because you're speaking the same language. It's just so, refreshing. And how, so many veterans, I was reading that I think that 20 million veterans in the United States suffer from spousal homelessness.
Okay.
and 10%, no, 20 million suffer from homelessness, and 10% of those are veterans. What in the world? And I said that in the article. What kind of a country, like Sister Daniela said earlier, what kind of a country is just going to drain you of your personality and your behavior, and that switch flips. One minute you're a compassionate civilian, and the next minute you're going to war. What kind of a country does that and still will not provide housing? I don't get it.
Yeah. You know what, Pastor? Do you mind if I share our VA experience today?
Please.
Do you have time for that?
Yes,
2 minutes?
please.
You don't mind? Thank you. So I went for my dental cleaning today. Now, as veterans, when we go to the VA is so backlogged with with appointments that they now have this system where they outsource it to a civilian. And we kind of like that. I honestly, I love when they send me to an outside dentist. I absolutely love it because I feel I get treated with respect. It's not hurry up and wait. It's like you got an appointment, you're there. The VA, if they'll put 9 people for the same time. I mean, that's just my experience. So anyway, today we went over and I got my dental cleaning, and then they said to me, Emilio, I'm just letting you know, we're dropping the VA account here. We're telling you right now that the VA has not done their part. They don't respond to us and everything else. I said, wait, give me a minute. Tell me who I got to talk to. And so they gave me a list, and then I went to the VA for my blood work today, and I'm going around trying to get a hold of administrators, not to get kicked out of the VA because I have that personality, And I'm like, could we speak to so-and-so? And they gave us the runaround, this person. Finally, we got somewhere where we may wind up getting some headway. And I just wanted to speak on behalf of the veterans and say, we love this dentistry. They take care of us. They respect us. They do what you hired them to do. Why are you not responding in a timely manner for approval? Like, they're not even doing all the work. All they got to do is approve it. But as you know, that's indicative of the whole VA system. The backlog. Yes. It took Chaplain Marine 10 years to get her benefits. And then when they did, they had to reevaluate her on some nonsense. And this is the kind of stuff that's happening to our veterans. And I just speak out. I'm just an advocate for our veterans, like I know you are. And yeah, we're passionate about it. We really are.
Yes. And there must be a way that your program and Chaplain Maureen's program and our program, particularly this national TFAM support group page, if there was some way we could find a national audience. A national audience. Pastor Sue, in all probability, will send you the link to tonight's program so that you can share it with all of your friends. And I will be sharing it with all of mine, and Chaplain Maureen will be sharing it with all of hers until we are heard. That again, though, it goes back. Number one, it's going to cost the federal government more money to outsource.
Yes.
No question about that. And if they don't pay that bill, that's the end of the outsourcing.
Yes.
And it's like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. On the one hand, on the other hand, it's like somebody has cut off the head of the VA. And when you get your head cut off, there's no direction.
Yeah. I'm so blessed. Do you mind if I share the last page?
Please.
Because you just reminded me something about the book that is so important. And I had people take a pledge. On this book. Anybody to read this? So if you don't mind, it's all on the up and up. If everybody minds putting their hands up, your right hand. And this is called Take the Veteran Ambassador's Pledge. Here's a quote. And we have to do better. Our work is never done. We have to be there not only when we need them, but when they need us. President Barack Obama. That's a quote from him. Okay. And then the pledge is our veterans take a pledge to protect our country. You now have an opportunity to pledge to protect our nation's most valuable resources, our veterans. And here's the pledge. and then insert your name. I, Emilio Roman,
Maureen
I,
Burns.
Pamela June Anderson,
pledge to help our country's veterans
pledge to help our
Country's
country's veterans
whenever I have the opportunity.
whenever I have the opportunity.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Thank you for that. This is a pledge that you mentioned earlier, Dr. PJ. How, if you can't see a veteran, you don't know they're a veteran. But by taking the pledge and we find out and we identify that a veteran is in need, we can all do something, an act of kindness to help our vets. So
Emilio, I'd like to share one benefit that just got added last month that people may not know about yet. If you're 100% disabled, you're able to fly Space A travel. What they added last month is now your dependent can go with you.
No
you
way.
are allowed to have a caretaker go with you. So if you want to take Space A, you can take your wife with you and say she's your caretaker.
Thank you. They've been fighting forever on that.
It passed last month.
Oh, thank you for that. You just helped me to help others by sharing that, because I was wondering what was going on with that. So that finally went through.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
Isn't that awesome?
And it doesn't have to be your wife or your husband. It could be, for instance, your oldest daughter. If you're a veteran and you're in a wheelchair or on a walker or something and you need assistance, you could take your eldest daughter on the flight with you. It just has to be related to you.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I've been looking at, just like yourself, I look at information to pass on to my veterans, and that's always been a bone of contention. Because if you're disabled, you obviously need assistance. And so I don't know why.
They've been trying to push that since Trump was in. They've been trying to push that. Yeah, finally.
Yeah. But thank you for that. Thank you for that. I will pass that on.
See what I mean? We got the best.
Hey, you got my vote. We're so honored to be here.
Are there any closing comments or questions, Chaplain Maureen, that you have of our incredible guests?
Well, I think that we should make them honorary chaplains.
Okay.
If you can do a pledge for us, we can do the sign of the cross for you.
How about that?
You are now honorary chaplains.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And we receive it. We receive it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. It's a blessing. Thank you.
So, Pastor Sue, remarks, questions?
No, I'm waiting for the after party when we end the broadcast.
Okay.
So we can talk. Yes.
Well, in our closing, we want to say to our viewing and our listening audience, especially our LGBTQIA veterans, plus our allies and veterans who are not LGBTQIA, that if someone has not told you today, I love you, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to do yourself a favor. I want you to go and stand in your mirror and say, I love you. Then you will know that you are loved. Because loving yourself is important. It's not being narcissistic or any of those negative things. Loving yourself is taking care of yourself. Loving yourself is appreciating your higher power and letting your higher power know, I love you. I know you love me. If you are a believer in Christ, you understand that Christ loved us, or God in Christ loved us so much that he gave his life so that we would have abundant life, so that we would be redeemable, so that we would be lovable. And so it's so critically important. It will lessen the intensity of your isms, whether it's bipolarism or schizophreniaism, or it will drop it down a notch. Chaplain Maureen has a saying: you can't be angry and show gratitude at the same time. Is that the way you put it?
That's a Burnsism.
That's what?
A Burnsism.
That's a Burnsism. And the more you practice gratitude, the better you're going to feel. Because gratitude is like and joy stimulates dopamine. Is that what it's called?
Endorphins.
Endorphins. Thank you. Endorphins. And you find yourself laughing, and you want to know why? Because joy is tickling your soul, and peace of mind is becoming a reality, and that we are into being physically, spiritually, and soul fit. And these are some of the ways that you can do that. Please know that we are praying for you, even if not by name, because there are so many names. We believe in a God who knows exactly who you are, exactly where you are, waiting for you to come to yourself, like the little lad who found himself feeding the pigs and eating with the pigs. He came to himself, and without hesitation, he thinking that his father would make him a servant or make him a slave, volunteering to become a servant and a slave to his father for squandering all of his riches, only to find out that his father ran to put his arms around him. God is waiting for you to come to yourself so God can wrap you. Uh, I guess that would be proverbial arms. Uh, the theological term is anthropomorphic, to wrap you in the arms of an all-loving God who loved all of us before we even thought about loving him. That's who's on your side. That is your only source. God is our only source. If we make $500,000 a year, it came from God. I guarantee you, God is the only source through the various institutions and systems that sometimes work for us and sometimes doesn't. But God works every time, all the time. We love you.
Amen.
God bless you. Thank you again, Sister Daniela and Brother Emilio,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and good night.
Good night.